Hello, everybody. I actually came a little bit early just because I saw lovely people already online. So, hey, Leanne, hey, Theron, hey, Jad, from various places. So, Edmonton, not sure where that is, but thanks for coming in. From Michigan, from Jordan, really thankful for everybody joining in from all over the world. Um, we'll just get started in 15 to 20 seconds. We are having some technical problem in publishing to Facebook. Looks like StreamYard is having some issue with that. But if you are listening us on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter, or X, welcome everybody, or on our on-demand platform. Hey, Elaine, nice to have everybody online. And it's great to see everybody. It has been some time when I did a single webinar on a topic which is very, very close to InstaWP brand. All right, so let's get started. Hello, everybody. My name is Vikas, and I'm the founder of InstaWP. Some of you may already have seen my webinars, seen me personally, or met me personally, and I have met a lot of you folks personally in various WordCamps. I'm going to be at WordCamp Europe in Turin, so hopefully I'll meet more of you there. We have a small booth as well, so come and say hi to us. All right, so let's get started. Today's topic, let me just add my slides to this. Share screen. All right. So today's topic, without further ado, is about choosing a long-term hosting partner. What is a long-term hosting partner? Before we go there, I hope you are able to listen to me properly and there is no audio or video issues from my side. Everything okay? All okay? Let's get started. Um, Again, welcome everybody. And today we are going to talk about why is it important or how to choose a long-term hosting WordPress hosting partner. What are the different issues? What are the different concerns? What are the different qualities a hosting partner should have for you to basically partner with somebody, right? As an agency, as a freelancer, as an end user, you are looking for a hosting company where you can park your assets for a very long time. um, so that actually starts our first line. So we will cover various topics: why think long term, what makes a great hosting partnership, types of hosting services, different pricing models, and then we will talk about InstaWP Live, which is the topic for today. All right. So why think long term? Why is that important? So we aim for stability and reliability over time. What does that mean? So so in the beginning, you might think that the hosting partner is reliable and stable, but over time they might not be. So that's why you need to think long term. Quick and effective customer support is a very, very uh, big metric when you're thinking long term. Because whenever you need a custom support, whenever you have customer issue, your hosting partner should be able to provide you with kind of a acceptable customer support time, right, during that time duration. No one is like perfect and gives you right away answers, right? There may be some time where the problem is complex. Consistent performance and uptime is very important for long term. I don't need to explain that in deep. Easier scalability. So this is really important. I have seen very few providers doing this. So when you scale, if and when you scale, right? It's not about if, it's when you scale, your needs grow. You need more CPU, you need more resources, all of that. Um, and your hosting partner should be able to provide you with such things. Otherwise, you end up going to a bigger hosting company And then the next option, which is the next point, which is the migration cost adds up, and then it adds up your it basically unnecessarily you're wasting time during finding a new partner, migration, losing some hairs on your head. All of that is actually a cost to you. And then the one of the most more important point which we have seen recently is hosting partners or hosting companies tend to not innovate after some time, and that is something you should think about, because there is always advancement in technology, right? If there is http3, there is http, there is caching on different levels, there is cdn, which works on edge now. So all of these combined together, backups on hourly basis, on demand backups. Hosting is not what it used to be, right? It's more about experience now rather than just kind of a utility. Right? We have moved beyond that part where it's just considered a commodity or a utility. At the end, as an agency, as a freelancer, if you're serving your end customers, all of these combined together is actually enhancing clients' trust in you, right? If you are able to provide them a long-term stability, reliability, over time, then your clients trust you because you are the front for them, right? And their businesses thrive and you thrive with them. So that's kind of looks like very commonsensical things to think, but it's important to point out these things before we talk about other points in the next slides. So this is very straightforward. Most of you might already know this. Is what are the different types of hosting companies? Um, so one is a very basic shared hosting. Uh, I'll just explain it like a very layman or a very easy to understand kind of terminology. And please ignore this if you already know it. So shared hosting is when the hosting company either rents or uh, buys a server and gives you or rents out a small portion of CPU and RAM to you. How do they do it? Is that they have, let's say they have a 4 CPU machine and they have a 8 GB RAM machine, right? And they allow you to host a website in that server, and they will allow multiple people to host websites, isolating them from one another. But at the same time, they are using the same CPU. The other customers on the same machine are using the same CPU and RAM, and the resources are basically shared. So hence the name shared hosting. In this case, it's good to start with, right? It's cost effective. You can get maybe a dollar site or whatever, and you don't need to spend a lot. But once you start to grow, once you actually need a site which performs better, shared hosting might not be the ideal use case for you. The next part is the VPS part, which is virtual private server. The same server which was shared with multiple customers will be dedicated to you, but virtually, right? So the bare metal server will be compartmentalized on multiple different CPUs and RAMs, and one of those will be given to you. And it has better resources. It has more power than a shared hosting, but you have more control because you have a root access. Maybe need so it requires a little bit of more manual maintenance, right? You need to log in, and there are a number of control panels right now which can be used to make this easier. One of the control panels, some of the control panels we already partner with is Run Cloud, Server Avatar, and there are a couple of more which we will partner with very soon. Then there is dedicated hosting. So where you have a dedicated server, preferably bare metal, you have full control, high performance. You can go with a managed and unmanaged dedicated hosting, right? Depending upon how much cost you are willing to spend on and how much technical know-how you have. And the last is the managed WordPress hosting. This is a very specific hosting for WordPress. You don't need to manage the server. Everything is managed by the provider. And the WordPress core itself is automatically upgraded to the latest version, a latest stable version whenever it comes up. And that's one of the features some of these companies provide. And the infrastructure itself will be managed by the hosting company. You don't need to log into a machine. You don't need to actually see those things at all. You just click a button and you host. That's it, right? So that's managed WordPress hosting for you. I am in the meantime, I'm trying to also read your comments. If you have any questions, feel free to raise them here. Qualities of a great hosting provider slash partner. So what does that mean, right? So you are partnering with the hosting company. It's not just a provider. So you should look up for a higher uptime guarantee. Your site should not go down. Robust customer support. We talked about it. Security features such as SSL, backups, firewalls, positive user reviews. Always go and check out user reviews and testimonials on online. Advanced technological stacks such as PHP, latest PHP versions, caching support. We talked about that. Content delivery network. If you are not aware about what is CDN, think about a website as multiple layers of different functionalities when you serve it to a when your website is opened by a customer. It is actually not just a simple website, right? When you hit www.website.com, your browser performs a number of different activities. One of those activities is fetching your static files and as we call it assets, right? So it may be JavaScript, it may be your CSS, it may be images which you are serving. These are all static. They don't change very frequently. If they are changing very frequently, they are not really static assets, right? And these are served via CDN, which is closest to your customer. So let's say your business is in USA, and then your customer is in the UK. And if they open your website, the static asset should be served from a CDN which is nearest to the person. So that makes the website performant and fast. And the dynamic portion of it can be served from, let's say, the origin of the server is US. So that's fine, right? The main, let's say, the cart page or the product page content itself served from the server itself. But the static assets are faster. The images are larger, right? But they are served closer from the user, so it seems faster. The site feels faster. So it's very important to have a CDN. And then additional features like staging, one-click installs, all of this. As I said, it's not just a hosting service anymore. It's an experience which we're looking for. So does now I'm coming to the point, right? Is InstaWP Live a good choice? We just recently launched, or when I say recently, it's like 2 months ago. It's is that like means when we launched it, I was personally skeptical whether people will like it or not. Whether people who are using InstaWP are looking at us as a hosting company or hosting partner. Um, Turns out we are doing very well. A lot of agencies have chosen us as their platform. But let's talk about why is that. So we provide you instant setup. You don't need to like click multiple times and then set up one thing and then install another thing and then install SSL. All of that comes pre-combined, and I will show you in a demo now. It's pre-configured for optimal WordPress performance. So the caching are pre-installed, CDN is pre-built. All of that is pre-configured for you, so you don't need to do anything. So it saves time, right? Saves energy, and you have a standard configuration every single time. Flexible and scale as per your requirement. So we have different plans on CPU and visitor count and disk, and you can scale up, scale down whenever you want to. We also have a 110 CPU burst support. So let's say you have spikes of different, let's say in the day or in the night, you have different spikes of traffic. We have scalability, which will automatically handle it. The burst support is not public yet. We are going to make it public in, I think, next week or so. Um, Competitive pricing with transparent cost, pay as you go. And I have a different slide for that, so I'm going to cover that there. Robust security protocols, regular updates. Since it is a completely managed WordPress hosting, we automatically upgrade your WordPress version to the latest one. We make sure that nothing breaks overall, right? Basically, let's say we have thousands of clients. and we are upgrading and something breaks, then we immediately revert it. But generally speaking, we test it first and then we upgrade everybody to the latest one. So you are always on the latest and greatest version. We have a modern and snappy dashboard. Most of you might already know this if you are using InstaWP before. We have powerful built-in features as we talked about, CDN backups, and I'll show you in a moment. Um, we have one cool feature, which is InstaWP itself, right? So the InstaWP platform, which is staging, which is template, all of that combined with the hosting makes it a perfect choice for agencies, freelancers, individual and organizations who are working with clients or for themselves also, right? Everything in between. So if you wanted to create a site for your client, you can just create a staging site, and you are not wasting your expensive resources on the live platform. Once you are ready, you can just click a button and go live. And I will show you that in a moment. All right. So before we talk about roadmap, let's have a demo. So before I start demo, let me see if you have any comments. Hey, Peter, the more I use it, the more I understand how. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, we are trying to make it as descriptive as possible. We have released so many features that even we are not able to track it. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so right, the only innovative experience you say the basic security that okay, yeah. So basic security should be there. So we include WAF, which is Web Application Firewall, and that is included. So yeah, let me talk about where our servers are hosted by sharing my screen. So just give me a moment. Boom. Yep, we are there yet now. All right, so let me just hide this comment real quick. Go to the InstaWP dashboard. Hopefully, you are able to see the dashboard. Um, yes, in order to start using InstaWP Live, you need to click on the hosting tab on top. If you don't see it, you can click on here and then go to the hosting tab. All right, clicking outside, clicking it again, and then clicking on new site. Here you have two options. One is using our own hosting, or you can connect our supported providers. So we have talked about supported provider in a lot of other videos, so I'm not going to cover that today. Clicking on next step will show you different plans which we offer. So we offer 2 CPU, 3 CPU, 4 CPU, 5 CPU. One cool thing to note is every plan is per site. Generally, in other providers, I'm not going to like name which providers are those, but if you Google for managed WordPress hosting, you will see that there are a number of good providers. I personally really like them, but their plans are per account, right? Or like per 10 sites, something like that. And they share these numbers in those slots. But our pricing is just pure per site play. So if you are buying an $18 per site per month, you will get 2 CPU, 25 disks, and 400K visitor per site per month, and you get all the other features. So, and if you wanted to calculate pricing, so we have a discount pricing. Uh, if if you host more sites with us, the pricing will automatically go down. I have a dedicated slide. I will talk about that, but I'll just show you a new cool pricing calculator which we recently introduced. So let's say you wanted to host two sites with us. The pricing will go down to $12 per site. If you wanted to host 10 plus sites with us, so 10 or more, 10, 11, 12, and more, then the pricing goes down to nine sites, $9 per site per month. So almost reducing to half if you host it with us in bulk. And if you are hosting more than 50 sites, 40 sites, 50 sites, reach out to us. We might be able to give you a preferential pricing. All right. So now choosing this plan, which is $18 per site per month. Going to the next step. This is one of the question in our comments today. Where are the data centers? So we have three in US and one in the Netherlands. So which is Amsterdam. We are going to add more soon in Europe and maybe in Asia very soon. So watch out for that in our newsletter. So let's just choose Washington for now. We support latest version of PHP, and then you can choose one of them. And then we provide you with a basic domain name, so you don't need to like every time you launch a site, you like link a domain. Right? You're working on a site, you don't have a domain name right now, no problem. So let's say 25 April demo 2 because I already created demo 1. Next step. Here you can choose between the plugin partners which we have. So let's say you wanted AI Copilot. You wanted, for example, a marketing plugin. So you wanted WP Fusion, right? So you can install from here itself. Soon we will have integration with um, a multiple. So you, remember, if you are an InstaWP user, you will be able to choose your stack. So you can build a number of plugins. So basically, combine a number of plugins into your own stack rather than our stack, and then you will be able to choose from there. All right. So now the last step is just going live. That's it. So clicking continue. This is going to create a site on InstaWP Live, and it is going to create a SSL record, a record, combine, install WordPress for you, do all the housekeeping for you. You don't need to do anything, and it will just. And one more cool thing which will it will do is it will install our Connect plugin. So our Connect plugin is a powerhouse itself, and we will be doing a separate webinar for that. But the Connect plugin is pre-installed on all our websites. You can, however, if you don't like it, you can just click on uninstall and it goes away. But if you do decide to have it, it will allow you to manage the WordPress within the hosting thing, right? So the hosted site itself is a WordPress site, but Connect plugin as a plugin will allow you to manage the WordPress site, and I will show you how. So let's see the website which is just launched. So it was quick enough, right? It was fast enough. You are every time you launch a website, you save a bunch of time already, and then there is username and password. So let's do a magic login. And this magic login, by the way, is provided by the Connect plugin. So if you go to the plugin section, you will see that the InstaWP Connect plugin is pre-installed and magic login functionality is provided by that. Uh, there are two plugins which are automatically getting installed, and Akismet and Jetpack. This has been raised before by several customers, and we are working to not do it. So you should be able to deactivate them for now, but there is no way to delete it. And we are working on something which will allow you to do that. So bear with me on that. Other than that, it's a pure WordPress site. You can install, you can do whatever you want to on this. All right, going back to our dashboard, closing this up. There are some features which is like common to InstaWP. So you can add a tag. So let's say this is a demo by Vikas. Press enter, basically adding a new tag, right? And then you can basically filter with the tag by clicking on the tag. Remember, I told you that the Connect plugin is installed on all of these sites. What it will allow you to do is there are two settings. One is a Connect setting, one is the hosting setting. So hosting setting is for the hosting part of it, and Connect setting is for the Connect part of it. Becomes a little bit of confusing, but if you bear with me, you will understand why I'm talking about it. If you go to the Connect stamp, you will see this site again on the Connect stamp because InstaWP Connect plugin can be installed on any site, not just on our hosting. You can just simply install it on a site hosted on Rocket, on WP Engine, doesn't really matter. Those sites will start to show up. That's a separate product by itself, right? But if I click, so let's go back to hosting. Let's say I wanted to purge all the cache and not just like our cache, any cache, WP Rocket, right? Perf matters, all of that. We support a number of plugins and it will automatically purge cache for you. That's it, right? Job done. Now let's go ahead and click on the site itself and see what are the different options which we have. So it will tell you the space used. It will get updated in a moment. How many CPUs are you is in your plan? And some kind of information like which PHP version. You can just simply switch PHP version by changing this. Which WordPress version. So we only support 3 WordPress versions. So the latest one, the previous major version, latest major version, and one of the beta version which is coming up, right? So that is all we support. So you don't have to guess which version you want to be on. Edge caching is enabled by default. You can purge it by just simply clicking on purge cache. Go on top, you have view logs. So you have error logs, you have access logs. We are working on a new UI where you will be able to serve through them even better. You can clone this if you wanted to clone this in a separate and then do a modification. You can open the PHP MyAdmin database editor, which is pre-supplied, which is a basic thing offered by almost every company. And then there is SFTP, SSH. So using same SSH protocol, FTP also works. So you can just click on add and enter the username. You can use SSH key pair or simply password. So straightforward. Just and you can access it via a simple FileZilla or terminal. Then there is backups. So there is no backups right now. So I'll just tell you how backups work with InstallWP Live. Uh, files are automatically backed up every single day, and database is backed up every single hour. So every hour you get for database backup, and then every day you get files backup. And I believe I'm not entirely sure on the retention part, but I believe there is a 30 days retention on both. So I will confirm that, and I will share that in the notes of webinar after this. All right. So, and you can do on-demand backup for files and database by clicking here. And then there is map domain. So you can map multiple domains to it, and you can mark one of that as a primary, and others will be alias. So you are free to map as many domains as you want. All you need to do is go to your uh, Cloudflare or GoDaddy or wherever you bought the domain from, and create two separate records, and then click on map domain. If you are using Cloudflare, you need to disable proxy while mapping. Once you have mapped the domain, you can just switch it on. The proxy can be switched back on. All right, I'm going back to StreamYard and let's see if we have any questions. All right, we have a ton of questions. So let me address them after the demo is complete. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so the next part of the demo is about, all right, so there is delete option. If you want to delete the site, you can simply go there and delete. Now let's go back to staging in a moment for a moment, right? As you can see, I have created a site, a client site. Let's see how it looks like. Remember, this is a staging site. So this is hosted on our staging infrastructure, not on the hosting infrastructure, and it is consuming your regular staging sites quota. So if you are on a free plan, you can still use it, right? We restrict it for 7 days. You can still use it. Once you are ready, you can go live. So let's see how you can go live with that. So clicking on go live, there's a new rocket button help you go live through InstallWP Live. So this is the flow which we wanted to create, right? So over a period of time, you create your client side first as a staging, and once they are ready, you click on a button and it goes live. That's it. Next step is basically choosing a plan. Now, see since you have created two sites now, your pricing drops down to 12 already automatically. So let's choose a plan. All of that which we did earlier. So this is Acme client 25 April, just to give it a unique name. And let's choose Amsterdam this time. And the PHP version of 8.1. Go live, continue. So now notice there are 3 steps instead of 2 steps. So it will create a site for you first, and then it will take a backup of the staging site, and then it will copy the entire backup into the live platform by transferring it over, and then all the work of migration is done for you automatically by the platform. While it is doing that, I'm going to go back to StreamYard and answer some of the questions because it takes about like 1 or 2 or 3 minutes, depending upon the load. All right. So first question, are the installations contained separate from others? Yes. So they are isolated from others. If one instance is unfortunately compromised by any vulnerability by a plugin or something, none of the other installations will be affected 100%. When you choose to create a page through hosting tab, it is possible to immediately connect with a staging website or a template Yes, so that's a great suggestion, Peter. You will be able to do that very, very soon. So one of our my vision is to take a template which you created from staging side and then take it directly to hosting. Right? You don't need to like create a staging and then go live. So that is coming very soon. All right. So Creative Minded has asked that I'm reaching out to inquire about possibility of integrating web hosting services directly through WHMCS for agencies who manage servers. Is there a potential for future integration to offer web hosting services? Okay, so we are working on a project which I didn't want to completely reveal yet. It's called InstaPanel, and I can give you a brief overview of how it works, where you can become a complete hosting company by offering the entire experience to your users, and you can mark up pricing on top of what we offer, right? So and it goes to your Stripe account and all of that, right? It's completely white label. It works on your panel. So let's say panel.creativeminded.com, and I can give you a brief glimpse of that. Otherwise, reach out to me via support and we will set up a separate demo for you. Question: can you show the website you're creating now in hosting? You will connect with an existing site template. I think I just did that, so that completes it. So Kelly has asked, yes, so we are partnered with Automatic. We are using their servers, and we have a special relationship where we get the resources and the pricing which we can offer you, so that it works out best for everybody. So yeah, it is hosted on WordPress VIP or slash Automatic. Perhaps instead of WP Connect should be possible to choose an existing study site, not just create. So I did that, right? Means I did connect an existing staging site. Um, Not sure I got your question correctly, Peter. Theron has asked, I would like to know more about who owns the servers and about the network. So as I said, the servers are technically owned by Automatic, but the contract between us and Automatic makes all the content and the client data owned by us. So you are hosting with us. Effectively, we are renting their servers, right? So they don't own your data. We own your data. I mean, not us personally. You own your data, right? So first of all, you own your data. You have rented servers with us, a server space with us. In turn, we have rented from Automatic. The the data itself is owned by you or your clients. We never touch your data. We never log into your data. But when you're working with us, you are working with InstaWP. You do not work with Automatic or anybody else. Hopefully that makes sense. Um, don't know why I'm getting lag while opening the site. What is the problem? So Vishal, I will definitely get that checked. Yes, Leanne, this will be available as a recording. The InstaWP Connect WordPress plugin currently allows to create only a new staging site, but maybe we can choose an existing. Oh, okay, I got it now. So that is a feature which we are working on, Peter. I think that will be available very soon. All right, so let's go back to our demo. All right, so our new website is now live. Look at that. So let's click on this nice little icon here. Boom. So as you can see, the domain is now on our live platform. So dot app is a dead giveaway of where it is hosted, and it is exact replica of your client side. And you can go ahead and safely delete your staging site. But then again, you don't need to. You can keep working on your staging site and keep pushing update using our two-way sync. So if you wanted to learn more about two-way sync, I'm doing a webinar with Kyle from the admin bar on 4th of May or 3rd of May. Shivanshi can confirm in the chat. And maybe Shivanshi can post a link to that so that people can register to it. All right. So if you wanted to see where all it connects, so if you go to the Connect tab, as I said, we pre-install our Connect plugin on all our live sites. So we did that. So that's why it is showing in the Connect tab. But under staging site, you will see the Acme site dot XYZ is shown as a staging site linked between the two, right? The interface is a little bit confusing. If you work when you work with it over time, you will understand. And we are working and we are making a number of changes, which will help you understand and go through three different connection point. So what I will call it is like a staging, a hosting, a connected site, a staging site, right? All of these should be connected very cohesively, and we are working on that. So you will see some changes very soon. Um, all right, so we have seen how to create a new hosting site. We have seen how to take a staging site and make it a hosted site on instead of PLAN. The last thing which I wanted to show you, we are kind of running out of time because we have to talk about pricing in a moment. Last thing I wanted to show you is how you can import a site into InstaWP, host it anywhere else in the internet, and then push it, make it as an InstaWP LAN, effectively using the migration service, right? So the migration will work very, very easily. So all you need to do is install. This will be very, very kind of dangerous showing online in a live environment, but I'm going to show you the latest migration tool which we are working on. Maybe uh, that can help with some of the migration activities. It's called Migrate. So all you need to do is go to installability/migrate. We don't even have like a proper navigation for it yet. You need to enter the URL of your source website and the destination website. The destination website in this case will be a site hosted with us. So I'm going to assume that the site which we created earlier, let's use that as our destination website. All right. So this is 25 April demo 2. Now, the staging website, excuse me, the source website is not hosted with us, not on our staging platform, not on our live platform. It's a site hosted somewhere else. So that this is that website. So I just copy the URL here, click on connect. Is going to redirect me back to this website um, and then ask for permission to install our Connect plugin. So this is going to auto install the Connect plugin and connect the site to migration. So this is a new migrate tool which we are working on. Um, there are some rough edges which we are working to solve it, but it should be good to go for you to use it. And you can use it to migrate. So the cool thing about our migrate service is you can use it to migrate a site from any hosting company to any hosting company, not just our own, right? So it's a generic general migration tool. And the destination website is this one. So let's open that up and connect it. All right, since it is already created and our plugin is installed, it is pre-connected. Let's see how does the client website looks like. So it looks something like this, right? So let's click on start migration and start it. Boom, job done. And it will take some time. All right. So demo gods, thank you for not helping me. But yes, so this migration tool, once we sort out the rough edges, it will start working and you will be able to migrate the site from one place to another, one hosting company to another. So that's migrate for you. Now, going back to my slides, my demo is over for InstaWP Lives. Thanks, Kelly. So let me remove this and present my slides again. Just a moment. Right. So roadmap. Before we talk about pricing, so roadmap is we are going to provide you a graph where you can see usage over time. So how many pages are served, a bunch of very cool graph which we can help you visualize your usage of your website. You will be able to upgrade or downgrade on the fly, and this is one of the coolest thing which I don't think any other, or in my knowledge at least, is provided by any other company. So let's say you are on the $18 plan and you wanted to go on the $24 plan for a day, right? You will be able to do that. So you upgrade it and then you downgrade it after a day, which is really cool, right? And then you will be able to invite members to view or manage single or multiple sites. So effectively, you can actually invite your clients to give them a dashboard of some kind. You will be able to add, let's say you don't want to upgrade the entire plan, you just want to add a CPU, right? So from 2 CPU you want to make it 4 to 6 to 8 to 10 up to, I think we support 30 CPUs. And you want to do that for a day, right? So the minimum billing period is 1 day. So if you upgrade even for 1 hour, we will charge you for the entire day. Um, we thought about it to make it an hourly billing, but that was just too becoming too complex. I think per day is fine, right? Granularly speaking. If you wanted to add more disk without increasing CPU, you should be able to do that with our latest release. And ETA for upgrade, downgrade, adding CPU is very soon actually, within 2 weeks. We are already working on it. We are going to work on integrations so that the entire InstaWP platform looks like a single platform. So if you are aware what is commands, what is configuration, what is Git deployment, all of that will start to work with InstaWP Live. One feature which already works with InstaWP Live is VAS, Website as a Service. Some of you might already know that. So you are able to sell websites using InstaWP Live, kind of a reseller program, but on steroids, right? So that will be like pre-built templates. You are selling to your, let's say, you are just selling to dentists, you're just selling to lawyers, so you can do that. And we have done a number of webinars on that. Just search for WAS, WAAS, WordPress or InstaWP. You'll get to that. So, okay. So pricing, I have already talked about. We have tiered pricing. One side is $18, and then 12 side, 2 to 9 side is $12, and then 10 plus side is $9 per side for the light plan, which is 2 CPU, 25 GB, 400,000 visitors per site. Again, right? Per site, not for the entire account. Then the boost plan is 3 CPU, 4 CPU, 5 CPU, and we are going to add more plans very soon. Some of those plans will have burst support. So burst support allows us to spike this number of CPUs up to 110 CPUs whenever you have like a spike of traffic, and your customers will just simply start using it. Um, so this is a proper managed WordPress hosting similar to other providers, but services offer is per site resource allocation, not shared amongst the websites. Some of the FAQs which we have got in the last 2 months. So per site already talked about it. Every website gets own visitor quota, and this we already talked about it. We already talked about per day pricing. So if you are just so let's say you hosted a site with us for a day and then you deleted it, we will charge you for just 1 day. You don't need to set up servers. Okay, one more cool thing is you don't need to buy 10 sites with us at once, right? So most of the providers will ask you to buy the 10 slot or 50 slot or 25 slots. We will tell you to pay as you go, right? Um, and one of the coolest thing which we have done is if so we have two different pricing models, right? One is our normal InstaWP Pro plan, under which the staging services, all the other development tools come into play. So then we have the InstaWP Live feature, which is separate than our platform. So if you just wanted to use our hosting plans and you wanted to be on the free plan in the InstaWP platform services, you don't need to pay for that. But if you are on a professional plan or the agency plan, you automatically get $18 or $36 of live credits. So essentially, making your pro plan or agency plan like free, almost as free, right? So if you are not aware that we have two different pricing models, one is for the platform and one is for the hosting service, you can go ahead and check out our pricing. You will see that there is a pricing tab and then there is a live tab separate, right? So pay whichever service you want to use. You don't need to pay for everything. All right. So this is a special gift for our webinar attendees. Uh, we are giving away $50 worth of live credits. We can credit to your InstaWP account. All we need is honest feedback on our pricing, our usability, hosting performance, all of that. We can add you to our private Slack channel if you want to talk more direct instantly with us, or you can use email to give the feedback. So either you can scan the QR code or Shivanshi can copy paste this link. Let me see if I can just copy paste it because she will have to write it. So just go to this URL and fill a very simple form. And okay, I'll be getting a 404. Let me check. No, we are not. I'm able to open the form. If you are not, let me know and I'll try to do something about it. All right. Now, going back to the slides. Okay, so we are actually done and we are on time for 45 minutes. The next webinar is going to be about WAS and how much does it cost to build a WordPress website as a service, or SaaS, WordPress WAS, however you want to call it. You can go to our weekly webinar link. It is on the homepage also, and you can subscribe to it. But before we finish, I would like to open the podium for any more questions about pricing, about performance, about comparisons with other platform. The best thing to do would be to use the $50 credits and start to use the platform, right? That will give you hopefully enough confidence to use the platform. And I think $18 plan will give you how much? Let's see, about 2 months of usage, right? So that should be enough to judge the performance. So managed seem to be mean different depending upon hosting plan. In your case, managed mean automatic backup security. Yes, Kelly. So that's right. Managed is a very commonly used term, but has different meanings, 100%. In our case, it has like we manage all of your WordPress site, including backups, security, CDN. So yes, so I didn't talk about CDN. Let me just let me just show this very quickly. Sorry for taking this extra bit of time. So if you go to Speed Vitals and then do a TTFP test, and let me just, so this was one of our website which we tested, right? And this is not pre-planned. Means the website itself was not pre-planned. So it will measure TTFP from 40 locations. So let's try that. And people who are not aware about what is TTFB, which is time to first byte. This is very important in Google page speed, in a number of other performance benchmarks on how much time to first byte is when somebody opens a website and then they see the first byte coming from the server. How fast is that, right? So right now we are getting kind of a very bad TTFP, right? If you see, there's a lot of reds and oranges here. This is because this was opened from for the first time from these locations, right? So London, Milan, uh, US, Mumbai, and all of this. So let's try that again and let's see what happens. Uh, Most of that has been converted to greens, right? This is because our CDN is on over 27 locations around the world. So the CDN is pre-built. You don't need to do any, like, you don't need to install any speed plugin or buy a CDN plan, which automatically saves you cost, right? The backup thing saves you cost. The security thing saves you cost right away, right off the gate. So that's what CDN means. And I think if I can safely copy paste this link to our comment section, you should be able to. Um, yes, Elaine. So please fill the form. Our team will reach out to you and share Slack channel details to you. I will definitely urge you to fill up the form. All right, so let's wait for another 1 to 2 minutes for people to ask questions. And I hope this was somewhat useful, somewhat enlightening in terms of how to choose a hosting provider. So it's not just about us, right? Means we are not going to claim we are the best hosting company in the planet. We are, I always say, we are a very decent, cost effective, long term partner who people who are looking for a hosting provider, and we are that. So if you ever wanted to try it, just fill out the form, or you can just simply go to our website and start using it right away by just creating a free plan. You don't need to register for a pro plan. Thanks, Kelly. Really appreciate this very kind for you, kind of you. Thanks, Elaine. All right. So if we don't have any other questions, and if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us via live support, or I am always active on Twitter at Vikas Programmer. I'm going to type it, and feel free to follow me or DM me. I will reply as quickly as possible. Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much. Have a great day, great weekend ahead, great night ahead. Bye bye.